Right guys, g'day, my name's Julian. You've clicked the thumbnail so you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. What I'm doing in this video is I'm going to be taking you through my process of building probably two of the most amazing benches I've ever built. Yes, there are two of them. Cascading recycled timber triple vanity. I'm only pretty much going to show you the one process, but just to clarify on a bit of confusion that might happen, there is two, so if you see them from different angles, that's why. Built two at a time. Right, so this story starts a couple months back when I went to Palmerston North. So there's this little building recyclers just out the back of Palmy called the Rusty Nail. It is absolutely insane how amazing the timber is in there. If you're ever in the area, definitely go have a look. So first thing I did when I got it all back was I took it to the Taumaranui High School. They've got an amazing workshop with a nice big plane. You've seen the one I've got here, the DeWalt one. Just wouldn't quite cut it. It's only got a cutting space of about 300, and in saying that, well, I was going to be doing a lot. I have to kind of recommend, if you are planning on doing a project like this and the tools that you need are a little bit bigger than you've got, high schools and high school woodwork shops are a great place to go ask if you can just chuck something through the thicknesser. I'm lucky enough that I do work at the high school, so I've got that inside scoop, but for the most part they're normally pretty accommodating. So first thing, I threw it all through the thicknesser, got it down to, I think it was 45 mils in the end. I also then squared off not only the one side on the plane, but then threw all the planks through the table saw to give it that nice square edge on both sides. This will mean that when I go to clamp it up, it all lies absolutely perfectly. The next job after that was kind of figuring out the layout. I wanted them to match, so what I did is I laid them all out on the floor, got them all in a orientation that I wanted to. Turned out that I had about probably 600 mils extra worth of stuff over all the timber that I've done. Next step was doing a lot of biscuiting. I put quite a few biscuits, a lot more than I would normally, just not only because it was a lot thicker, but because the timber itself, because it was kind of dried out and old, had a few little cracks in it. So I thought what I'll do is I'll put heaps of biscuits in it, and that should hold it all together. Again, here I am at the Taumaranui High School. They've got these massive sash clamps. I really needed it. In the end, the benches themselves were about 4 meters long and 550 wide. I used the polyurethane glue, which I haven't used before, but have to say, absolutely perfect for this kind of thing.
You gotta work smarter, not harder.
Okay, once they all came out of the clamps, it was time for sanding, and Elaine and I did a ridiculous amount of sanding. We must have sanded for 2-3 days. I also then took that opportunity to fill all the cracks and holes with a black epoxy wood filler. I wanted to show the history of the timber. I wanted to really capture the fact that it's recycled, and using the black epoxy really helped in this case. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to clamp up here. I've never done one of these kind of cascading timber joins. It's a big mitre with a 45-degree biscuit in each bit of the join. Done all my biscuits. I've also readied up my kind of clamping jig. Done a little test fit. It all seems to kind of work. So yeah, here we go. Polyurethane starting to foam. You can see it like pushing right up there. The only issue is, I think I might have put a little bit too much. Yeah. I'll wait till it gets like that in between phase where you can kind of cut it before it, it's foam but not super hard. I might have an issue here with the MDF never coming out, but we'll see. Still looking pretty good. Everything is nice and sturdy, nice and square. But Maybe a bit less next time. Nice. It's perfect. No movement. Woo! Look at that. Okay, so when you got a big mitre like this, what it pays to do is kind of overshoot one of the mitres and then really sand it back. That way the point can be like absolutely perfect. So what I did is I just shot the one mitre over. Luckily that's how the weight happened, and then I gave it a good old sand. Next step was bringing it up to, I think I used 400 grit sandpaper, gave everything an absolute beast of a sand, and then it was ready for the polyurethane coat. This is just the hard wearing polyurethane, brushes on really nicely. As soon as it brushed on, all those black sets that I put in popped. I mean, yeah, just look at it. Woo. In total, we did 2 coats of urethane, sanding in between. This took out all the, kind of what happens is that when you put it on a roller, you get a little bit of a bubble. Sanded that bubble off, and then when you give it the second coat of polyurethane, it really just sets super tidy. Fixing to the wall was pretty straightforward. What I've got is when I built the wall, I made sure that there was timber behind exactly where I was going to put this floating shelf. Put a big piece of timber, heaps of fixing in there, and that meant that I could fix a little elbow bracket in there and hide the fixing on that side. That way it looks like it's kind of floating all the way around. Elaine and I brought it in for a quick little test fit before then deciding to fix her in. I put a little bit of liquid nails all along the back edge of the boards themselves, fixed it to the wall on the bracket, and then fixed it to the wall with liquid nails. That cascade joint is so strong that you could stand on the whole table and it doesn't move at all. Okay, so probably the most nerve-wracking part of all of this is once I'd finished the table, finished it all up, got it right in there, I had to then drill all the holes for all my fixtures. So these are for my taps, for my basins, for my wastes. Pretty nerve-wracking. I broke probably 3 or 4 bits doing this, but in the end kind of got where I wanted to be. Yeah, there was a lot of stress involved in this day. I took it upon myself to do this. Not that I didn't trust the plumbers to do it, but I could see that they didn't want to do the drilling in my pretty countertops. So once that was all out of the way, the plumbers could then step in and do what they do best, putting in the vanity basins, the taps, the wastes, everything, plumbing it all up and finishing it off really. Right, so I am absolutely amazed at how beautiful this all turned out. What was really lovely is that it not only took this timber from, you know, nothing, but also took the room from nothing. So having a hand all the way through to really setting up this really stunning little space You can't imagine how happy I am. It's one of my favorite things I think I've ever built, as simple and classic as it is. I'm so happy to have shared this with you, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it.